You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, Nevada residents are being asked to consider voting for a permanent sales tax. KOAM's Anthony Saviello shares how that new tax would be used.
Also, the Vernon County clerk holds a forum to allow residents an opportunity to ask questions for sheriff candidates before their August election.
And we've got some haze out there, some patchy fog, another warm, muggy day, maybe an isolated shower. Take a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner just after 7 o'clock on this finally Friday. Here we are closing out, getting ready to close out the last full week of July.
Yes, before we know it, August is going to be here along with those primaries that are happening as well.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on in August, and of course the big election in November, but you got to get out there for those primaries next month as well. And speaking of voting, Nevada looking to ask voters a question.
Yes, the city of Nevada is set to vote on a half-cent sales tax during the August 6th primary.
KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more on what this new sales tax would be used for if passed.
We've probably been inundated with phone calls about the pool. I can remember when it closed, we had a line, wrapped around the building, ready for kids to get in and use the pool, and the next day we had to close it. So it's a water loss issue. They still can't find the plumbing leak, and so it's better to start all over again.
Starting over and building a new pool isn't cheap. That's why the city of Nevada has proposed a half-cent sales tax that would help fund the project. However, it would still do more than just that.
What has happened quite a bit in recent years is that when we hire new police officers and firefighters, the salaries are lower and people come in, get their certifications, and that's a significant expense for the city. They're also aware of what these same positions pay in other cities in the area, and we frequently have been losing a lot of our people to cities in the area.
The sales tax would also add a 13% increase to the fire and police department salaries and benefits, something Mayor Knox says is long overdue.
I was a policeman in my younger days, and my starting salary back in 1973 was the same as the salary starting here. And so, I mean, that's a big disparity. Now, granted, I was in a bigger police department, but still, the fact that we're known best for training police officers to go to other cities, it's critical that we keep a stable police force, and we have an excellent police department, and they deserve whatever that we can get them.
City officials believe this sales tax would fix important issues that the community would benefit from, and they encourage every citizen to go out and vote.
Turnout is historically low in local elections everywhere, not just Nevada, not just the state of Missouri. And so it's very important that people get out and vote.
Reporting in Nevada, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Now, if passed, the sales tax will go into effect January 1st and will be a permanent installment.
Of course, a lot of things that they need to try and take care of up there. So we, of course, encourage people, get out and vote, make your voice heard. That's the most important thing to do.
Absolutely.
And today, you can get out and enjoy a little bit. Still warm, still muggy, hot and muggy across the area, and still that isolated shower chance out there. Let's start first with a look from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. As you can see, it's a bit hazy out there. Otherwise, the skies are clear, but that haze is causing this. From our camera at 7th and Rangeline, now, of course, from the camera's perspective, it's giving the sun that kind of rectangle shape out there. But nonetheless, it's obscuring that sunrise once again. MoDOT camera 32nd and Rangeline looking pretty good as well as we get this Friday underway. Future Track, as it's done the last several days, is showing us the opportunity for an isolated shower or storm as we head into the afternoon and evening hours across the area. Just a quick reminder, though, the Future Track with pop-up storms, the difficulty is there's not a specific trigger for the storms. It's just the daytime heating. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to see one exactly where it's showing. And as we've noted, we've had a couple of days where Future Tracks put pop-up storms between, say, 3 and 7. We saw one a couple of days ago. They started as early as noon. And yesterday, we had a couple of pop-up showers in our northern counties toward the end of the 7 o'clock show here, about 7:50, 7:55. So we'll see exactly how that pans out, but either way, most of us will again be dry. 70 in Joplin, 69 in Pittsburgh right now. Temperatures right about where they should be, give or take a degree or two. Upper 60s and low 70s. And remember, our average low is about 70, so we're right on par. And our highs today, right on par as well. Upper 80s, low 90s. And we'll have the partly cloudy skies, stray shower storm out there. We have slightly better rain chances heading into our Saturday. We'll also be a bit cooler before those temperatures turn around and really start to heat up heading into August. We'll take a look at the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Some breaking news out of Paris, where France's state railways company says there were several coordinated malicious acts, including arson, that targeted high-speed train lines overnight. They say the sabotage has disrupted travel and damaged several facilities, and 800,000 travelers would be affected. Officials say the massive attack was aimed at paralyzing the high-speed line network, and the train lines will be disrupted through the weekend. Of course, all this coming as the Olympic torch really nears the end of its long journey across France, in just hours before the start of tonight's opening ceremonies. The Vernon County Clerk's Office held a forum for sheriff candidates to answer questions. The city held the forum in the Franklin P. Norman Community Center in Nevada. The three candidates answered questions about mental health, community safety, and crime management, and explained their platform to the attendees.
What we face in our area right now is a big uptick in mental health issues. Our jails are dealing with that. The entire state and country are dealing with the overflux of people who are dealing with mental health issues. And because of that, the mental health system is busting at the seams. And as a result of that, the only other place to put them is to throw these people in jails. Our jail is not necessarily equipped for an overflux of mental health issues.
The primaries for this race will take place on August 6th. The crash in Barton County claims the life of a Rogersville, Missouri woman. 30-year-old Auburn Dudley was traveling south on State Route T when she failed to stop at the intersection of Missouri 126. Her car then traveled under a tractor trailer heading east. The driver of the semi, Patrick Wright of Houston, Texas, was not injured. The Missouri State Highway Patrol major crash team was called in to help with the investigation. Missouri Governor Mike Parson weighed in on the crash, saying in part, quote, Auburn had been a respected state team member with the DSS for nearly 5 years. Auburn's heart for her children and public service inspires us all to live lives that make a positive difference to those around us. The governor went on to say he and his wife are keeping her family in their prayers. The Economic Security Corporation in Joplin is connecting homeless people with helpful resources. The Project Homeless Connect event offers people a chance to get some food, get a haircut, and learn about job and health resources. Officials say their turnout was one of the largest they've ever seen, which serves as a reminder of the significant need in the community.
Try to alleviate some of the misery around homelessness and poverty, and we're here to try to provide services and help folks ultimately become housed, is the whole idea behind it, and get them the help that they need while they're in the process of doing that.
The Economic Security Corporation also provides utility and housing assistance for residents in need. And those are our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Tensions continue to rise after Chinese and Russian bombers were intercepted off the coast of Alaska. We're going to have how the U.S. and Canada are responding. Topping Nation Watch this morning, a notorious cartel leader and the son of El Chapo are arrested in Texas. The Justice Department says U.S. authorities arrested Ismael El Mayo Zambada Garcia and Joaquin Guzman Lopez in El Paso yesterday. Zambada Garcia has led the Sinaloa cartel for decades in Mexico alongside Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. The two cartel leaders face multiple charges related to running criminal operations and trafficking fentanyl. Well, back to school shopping is right around the corner, and parents are expressing their frustration with the cost of school supplies. A new survey conducted by the personal finance company Wallet Hub found that 79% of parents say they feel like schools ask them to buy too much when it comes to school supplies. Back to school spending is predicted to reach a total of $38.8 billion this year. That would be the second highest on record. Russian and Chinese bombers flying off the coast of Alaska, triggering a quick response from the U.S. As we get a breakdown from Biden administration officials on the foreign military exercise. Fox News correspondent Chanley Painter has the details.
We are at the ready. We will always be at the ready.
We're now gaining new insights into Wednesday's joint Russian and Chinese air patrols that took place in international airspace off the coast of Alaska. The exercise marking the first time the two countries flew alongside each other in Alaska's Air Defense Identification Zone.
They didn't enter our airspace.
While officials at the North American Aerospace Defense Command say the flights were not seen as a threat, Biden administration officials say the activity is generating concerns in the midst of escalating international conflicts, especially in Ukraine.
We're concerned about the way that China continues to fuel Russia's war against Ukraine by Chinese companies taking steps to rebuild their defense industrial base.
American and Canadian fighter jets were deployed to track and intercept the crafts, which included 4 bombers. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin believes the drills had been planned for some time.
This is the 8th Joint Air Patrol organized by the two militaries since 2019, aiming at further testing and enhancing the level of cooperation between the two air forces and deepening strategic mutual trust.
The joint military exercise happening in the midst of a U.S. presidential election, with officials on the lookout for ways foreign governments may try to take advantage of the upcoming political transfer of power.
They're always testing us.
Russian and Chinese officials say the drills were not targeting any third party and were in accordance with international law. I'm Chanley Painter, Fox News.
And those are our top Nation Watch stories. Let's check in with Chris for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got some haze out there again this morning, a little bit of patchy fog here and there. We are going to once again be warm, be muggy, and have a chance for an isolated shower or storm. We're going to go over the full details in the forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 7:17 on this finally Friday in the 4 states. Live look from our camera, Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. And we've got that haze out there, some smoke in the area, but otherwise clear skies outside of that. Looking all right from our camera to 7th and Range Line this morning as folks get their day underway. We'll head a little further south to 32nd and Range Line. Once again, doing all right. It's nice to be able to show you when things are decent outside. Looking good from the KDOT camera, 69 and Kansas Crossing just south of Pittsburgh. Future Track today will once again show us the opportunity for an isolated shower or thunderstorm. Most of us today will remain dry, but that won't necessarily be the case for our Saturday. So clouds will increase later this evening and into the overnight hours. And as they do so, we head toward about 5 a.m., even 4 or 5 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to see a few more scattered showers and thunderstorms. Now, there's still going to be some of us who may not see any rain, but the benefit that all of us will get is the extra cloud cover that's going to come off of this as these storms, which is unusual for this area, roll from east to west with a low pressure system off to our south and west. So as we go through the day, there are going to be scattered storm chances for most of the day. As you saw, as early as 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, they'll run all the way through 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. And again, you'll have breaks. So some of you may see a few rounds of showers and storms, but you'll have pauses in between as this continues to rotate on through and we head into the afternoon. There we are, still more scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. A strong storm may be possible, but in all honesty, the overall dynamics just really aren't there, and especially not for any severe weather. We'll continue to keep an eye on it, but it's not looking like it's going to be anything significant other than just some much needed rain across the area. Overnight Saturday into Sunday, could see a couple of flare-up storms in our far northern counties, and then those will clear out, and we'll see partly cloudy skies for our Sunday as temperatures begin to warm back up. We're at 70 right now in Joplin. Airport's reporting visibility at 6 miles, and again, on the fog tracker, I haven't pulled it up here lately, but taking a look, Grove, 2.5 miles, Anderson, Cassville, Mount Vernon, and Iola, as well as Parsons now, dealing with some more reduced visibility, so do keep that in mind as you're traveling this morning. Temperatures Temperatures are about where they should be. Our average low around 70. We're within a couple of degrees in that in many locations. Upper 60s, low 70s as we get the day underway. So pretty decent, good start to the day. Sunny skies through the morning, mid 80s about by 11 o'clock. And our highs today, once again, around average, give or take a degree or two. We'll go upper 80s, low 90s, partly cloudy skies. And then again, some of us maybe an isolated pop-up shower or storm. Then we'll have the clouds increase as we go through the evening and overnight. Mostly cloudy tonight and back around average, about 70. We'll go below normal for many of us tomorrow, around the mid 80s with those scattered storm chances. Back to normal on Sunday. Then it starts to heat up, and as we head into the first few days of August, temperatures look to get dangerously hot. We go upper 90s and even into the lower 100s. And of course, as you see, additional pop-up storm chances toward the end of next week, which means dew point levels are going to be higher. It's going to be muggier. So we could easily see heat index values 105 or greater. So we've had, again, a nice break from the summer heat, but it is making a return. So just make sure you are prepared for that if you've got to work outdoors next week. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this. The opening ceremony of the Paris Summer Olympics kicks off today, but spectators in France and viewers glued to their TVs at home are preparing to enjoy all the action. Sports psychologists say the athletes at this level are under some serious stress.
Fox News' Gary Baumgarten takes a closer look at how ensuring good mental health could lead to Olympic glory and what non-athletes can take away from expert advice.
While many sports fans will tell you the Olympics are fun to watch, for the athletes competing in this year's Paris Summer Games, the pressure of going for the gold can tarnish their mental health.
They can get caught up in being the best at all times and trying to seek perfectionism as they're chasing medals, and that gets in the way of them taking care of themselves.
Sports psychologists say just having your body in peak condition may not be enough for an athlete to win.
It's important for elite athletes to be in tune with their mental health because the mind and the body are connected. The stronger your mind is, the better your body will be.
So it's critical competitors don't lose track of their wellness.
Simone Biles, she showed us in the last Olympic Games that her mind and body were not connected, and thus it was impacting her performance. So we could take a lesson from her.
This year is also the first time breakdancing will make its Olympic debut. For professional breakers on Team USA, being thrust into the spotlight like this can be unnerving.
We want to showcase breaking at his best ability. And for me, I'm just trying to make sure that I enjoy the moment. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself.
But while good mental health is key for these athletes, psychology experts say some of the same practices they recommend for Olympians can also apply to everyday people.
Seeking professional help from a licensed mental health professional, and also reaching out to your support network and building up some coping skills.
Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
It's certainly a lot that they have to go through to get ready for all this. And I mean, I can't even imagine just preparing.
A lifetime of preparation for most. Start at quite a young age and work their way up to this moment. So the mounting pressure, I'm sure, is a lot to deal with.
It's got to be a lot. Yeah. Competing on a global stage at that, so.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, well, coming up, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's trip to D.C. is coming to an end. We'll have the details on his meeting with our nation's leaders.
And we've got, again, a hazy start to the day, maybe an isolated shower or storm. We'll have a look at that forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:28. I'm Elise Noe. Authorities responded to reports of an SUV crash at I-44 in Main Street in Joplin yesterday. When authorities arrived, they found a Jeep Grand Wagoneer crashed into the trees. JPD said the SUV was westbound on I-44 when it took the off-ramp to South Main at high speed. The SUV left the ramp and jumped both northbound lanes of Main Street, landed, and then ramped off the southbound lanes into the trees. Authorities measured the distance at about 575 feet. First responders transported the male driver to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Well, Pittsburgh residents voiced their thoughts on the city's plan for a neighborhood map. The city's Neighborhood Advisory Council hosted an open house at Memorial Auditorium where residents could drop by, learn about the plans for the map and cleanup opportunities, and give their input. The proposed map is designed to increase local pride and foster growth in the community.
The neighborhood map and defining some boundaries and names for each neighborhood is the first step in a process where we're going to start connecting our neighbors together, start forming some networks to help neighbors out if they need support. But it's also going to start getting neighbors to work together.
And I think it's such a great idea, kind of sprung out of wanting to clean up the city, and I think we can do that better when we know our neighbors and have a better sense of identity with our neighborhood. So just excited about it.
The Advisory Council is planning a cleanup event in the northeast quadrant of the city this fall. Well, fair season in southeast Kansas rolls on. Visitors can head out to the Allen County Fair in Iola, Kansas to take in a rodeo, live music, games, and craft fairs. This free event also showcases local businesses. This marks the 131st edition of the Allen County Fair.
It's been in my family for, as long as I've known. My mom did it and all of her siblings. So we just kind of grew up going around it, and so kind of tradition. So I wanted to get into it.
Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
With a look outside from our camera at 7th and Rangeline, you can see we've got a fair amount of haze across the area, and outside of that, though, skies are clear. We also have some patchy fog, so again, some reduced visibilities. Grove, Anderson, Cassville, Mount Vernon, Iola, Parsons, and even into Carthage now, so just keep that in mind as you're traveling. If you look here, you can see off in the distance some light patchy fog as well in the Joplin area. MoDOT camera, 32nd and Rangeline, looking pretty good this morning as well. The future track is going to do exactly as it has done the last few days and show us that opportunity for a pop-up shower or thunderstorm as we head into the afternoon and evening. Do keep in mind, though, since there's nothing specific setting off these storms, it's kind of hit and miss on when and where exactly they form. A couple of days ago, we had some as early as noon when future track suggested they wouldn't be here until after 2-3 o'clock. Happened again yesterday. We were looking at a 3 to 7 window, and we had a couple as early as about 7:50, 7:55. Don't have anything out there now, but just keep that in mind as we head through the afternoon and evening. We could see some a little earlier than that. 70 in both Joplin and Pittsburgh this morning, and our temperatures right about normal so far, give or take a couple of degrees. We got upper 60s and some low 70s as we get the day underway, so not a bad start to the day by any means. As we head into the afternoon, average highs, so still hot, still muggy, but at least we're normal. We'll go upper 80s, low 90s, partly cloudy skies, and again, that opportunity for a stray shower or storm. Most of us, though, again today will be dry. It's looking, though, like our rain chances will pick up a bit as we head into Saturday, and our temperatures will fall down a bit as we head into Saturday as well. We'll look at all those details in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Lise?
Chris, thanks. Well, Vice President Kamala Harris called for an end to the war in Gaza and the release of hostages. It came after her meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Washington. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has the story.
I've had an unwavering commitment to the existence of the State of Israel.
Vice President Kamala Harris, now the likely Democratic nominee for president, meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu Thursday. Afterward, Harris condemned Hamas's attack on October 7th, but also expressed her concerns about the humanitarian situation in Gaza.
It is time for this war to end, and end in a way where Israel is secure, all the hostages are released, the suffering of Palestinians in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can exercise their right to freedom, dignity, and self-determination.
Harris also praised President Biden's work on a ceasefire deal that includes Israel's military leaving Gaza. The administration says it's making progress.
We are closer now, we believe, than we've been before. The gaps are closable, no question about that.
Earlier in the day, President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu met with families of the hostages still held by Hamas.
We got absolute commitment from the Biden administration and from Prime Minister Netanyahu that they understand the urgency of this moment.
Since Netanyahu's arrival, thousands of protesters have gathered in D.C. to protest the war. Some drew condemnation for burning American and Israeli flags. After meeting with the president and vice president, Prime Minister Netanyahu is traveling to Florida for a one-on-one with former President Donald Trump. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Shannon Becker joins us in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Well, welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning to you, Shannon. Happy Friday.
Thank you, and you as well. Let's take a look at the live and local stories, what's happening this week. KOAM News Now. It was a tan SUV, started as a crash in the median on I-44 just near Sarcoxy, and it became a 20-mile police chase down I-44. It actually ended in Mount Vernon. This is the actual chase. We were catching it on the MoDOT cameras as it was happening live on Wednesday.
Yes.
This gentleman here, now arrested, I think he's charged with 15 different things.
Wow.
Most of all, though, it's a felony DWI, felony fleeing, they call it as well. There were Lawrence County deputies, Missouri State Highway Patrol. He also rammed a patrol trooper's car. Trooper was not injured.
Okay, good.
But he was definitely on something, obviously.
Yes.
Court papers are online in our latest article. Our number 2 story, KOAM News Now, Joplin News First. A fire this last Friday in what used to be, we're talking probably about 80 to 100 years ago, this was a mine supply store where they would mine in the northwest part of Joplin.
Oh, interesting.
They became a woodworking shop years and years later. In fact, just closed about 2010. So since then, it's been a warehouse for storage. They're still investigating the cause of the fire, the Joplin Fire Marshal. Amazing. I'm not bragging, but that's pretty amazing video. Like we were up there really close. It was really fascinating to see them work so diligently, work so organized, and get that fire out, Joplin Fire Department. And our number 1 story, tragedy, Barton County. We were there gathering information as an SUV, as a car, drove underneath a tractor trailer. Young lady, 30-year-old from Rogersville, Missouri. She worked for the Social Services Department in the state of Missouri. Even, in fact, yesterday, Governor Parson had released a statement expressing the condolences for her family. She's a big advocate for adoption. Her and her husband, who's a trooper from Missouri State Highway Patrol, adopted 5 children. More on this story, and also she went viral in 2019, a story about ramen noodles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all that. Check it out, KOAM News Now, and she will be remembered. And then our bonus story of the week. Have you had a chance, I know you're new here, to go to the drive-in?
I haven't
You'll have to check it out.
I should.
Because Route 66 Drive-In, 66 in Carthage, is very historic. This is the original neon and the original sign.
It's incredible,
you don't get to see that all the time,
No, you
especially
don't.
on 66. So this weekend, it's going to be busy again. Everybody's like, well, they got sold out. Well, the movie starts at 9:15, but people will start getting in line at 4 or 5 o'clock.
For Twisters to see. And wow,
tonight.
That's incredible.
So it's going to run, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, continuing to run. Last weekend when I was there was a storm in Newton County, and you could see behind the drive-in theater sign the clouds and the lightning and stuff.
Ominous.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, wasn't it? So the second movie is an adult thriller. You probably won't want to keep the kids up for that one. They could always sleep in the back of the car or something. It's our bonus story, KOAM News Now, this weekend.
Exciting. All righty. Well, Shannon, again, thank you so much for being with us this morning, as always, and for all that you do for the community. Good to have you. Stick around.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:42 now on this finally Friday in the 4 states. And we're going to start with the future track heading into this afternoon, where we're going to see another opportunity for an isolated shower or thunderstorm across the area. Again, with this activity today, like we've seen the last several days, the majority of us will remain dry, hot, and muggy. However, take a look at the clouds. They'll actually begin to increase as we head through the evening and overnight hours. And as we head toward about 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, take a look what's rolling in from the east out here. A few more scattered showers and thunderstorms. We're going to see a few more showers and storms on our Saturday. Not a significant increase, but more of us in the line to get some much needed rain across the area as we head into our Saturday. So now this activity is going to stick with us most of the day until about 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow night. But as you can see, it's also going to be scattered. So if you have plans, just keep an eye to the sky and make sure you've got the KOAM Skywatch weather app because you're going to have those breaks. It's not going to rain all day, but you'll have chances all day for on again, off again showers and thunderstorms. So here we are at 3 as this low continues to cycle through. We get these storms continuing to rotate on through. As we head in the late evening hours, they will begin to exit out of here. And by 10, we're looking pretty good. The good news is as well, no severe weather is expected. Also, though, I want to show that overnight into early Sunday, could see a couple of additional storms flare up in our far northern counties, but those will move out. And the rest of our Sunday, not looking too bad. Temperatures will be hot again. They'll go back to normal, but it will be dry out there. All right, 7th and range line again, a bit hazy, a little bit of patchy fog across the region again. 70 in Joplin, and it is muggy. Dew point's up there, humidity is up there. Temperatures this morning right on par for average, upper 60s, low 70s, so we're not doing too bad as we get the day started. We'll have those sunny skies once again through the morning, be right around the mid 80s by 11 o'clock. And as we head into the afternoon, it's hot, it's muggy, but it's seasonably hot. Temperatures about average again, upper 80s, some low 90s here and there, partly cloudy skies, and again, maybe a stray shower or storm. As I mentioned, though, the clouds begin to increase this evening, and it'll be mostly cloudy overnight, still about normal as we fall back to around 70 degrees for our overnight lows. In fact, tomorrow, though, thanks to the extra cloud cover and rain chances, we're looking to be below normal for most of us. We're looking about mid 80s across the region, so enjoy that because it is not going to last very long. We go back to about normal on Sunday, low 90s. Then we start to go into the upper 90s Monday and Tuesday, getting dangerously close to 100 degrees out there. And as we roll into August, that's when we see that real dangerous heat start to show back up as we go into the lower 100s. And you see those pop-up storm chances. We know they feed off the daytime heating, which means dew point levels are going to be a little higher toward the end of next week, which also means that our heat index values could be 105, maybe a bit higher than that as well. So I know we've had a great break from some of that dangerous heat, especially compared to what we saw in June, but unfortunately as we roll into August, it is making a return, so make sure you are prepared to take appropriate precautions if you've got to work outdoors next week. That is a check of your forecast. Now we're going to send it over to Elise with Consumer Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. The Paris Olympics officially start today, but ticket sales may be off to a slow start. Reports say there are still 1 million unsold tickets for Olympic events, including many open seats for this year's unique opening ceremony. Fans can also expect a very different opening ceremony this year, with the athletes' march starting the event instead of ending it. The march will feature 90 boats bringing in the athletes on the Seine River in the first ever outdoor ceremony. 2 bills aimed at protecting children online makes progress in the U.S. Senate. The Kids Online Safety Act and the Children and Teens Online Privacy Protection Act both received major bipartisan support leading up to a final vote next week. The Kids Online Safety Act enforces social media companies to have a duty of care on what content children see on their platforms. The Children and Teens Online Privacy Protection Act looks to ban targeted ads and data collection of minors. The bill's fate in the House still unknown, which is on recess until September. Hollywood's video game performers are going on strike for a second time. The move comes after talks for a new contract with major game studios broke down over artificial intelligence protections. The union has said without guardrails, game companies could train AI to replicate an actor's voice or create a digital replica of their likeness without consent or fair compensation. This latest strike begins at midnight. And those are our top consumer stories. Now let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Well, what started off as a normal day fishing turned into a rescue mission for a Michigan teenager. He jumped into action when he saw a woman's car submerged in lake on Tuesday.
Everyone got out of the water alive. Tiara Braddock reports.
I just see a car just go flying in the air. It was about, I would say, like 15 yards into the water already, that far.
John Agnello was out fishing with his mom near the marina when he saw the car go into the lake. Without hesitation, John says he and a man jumped into the water to help the woman inside the car.
The car was at like 65% water, so then we had to get it out the window because the door wasn't opening.
After John and the man pulled the woman to safety, John wanted to make sure there was no one else inside the car, so he jumped back into the water. Thankfully, the car was empty.
What was your thought when you were down there swimming? What was going through your head at that time?
The only part that kind of scared me was I was under the water inside the car, because I was feeling around in there. It got kind of hard to get out, but I think I was fine.
As John was in the water, his mother, Beth Agnello, was at shore calling 911 for help. Beth says she is so proud of her son, who is being called a hero.
And as a hero, I'm hoping that he stays humble and considers some career options for his future.
John says he doesn't know if he'll be a first responder in the future, but he does know he loves helping others.
I think that's just how my family raised me, just to take action, all that stuff.
St. Clair Shores police are investigating what caused the car to go into the water. As far as the driver goes, police say the woman was taken to the hospital to be evaluated.
Certainly an incredible effort by that 15-year-old. It takes a lot of bravery and courage to go under a, submerged car and help someone out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I of course, I can't swim, as you folks at home may know. So that takes a lot to get out there and try and rescue some people you don't even know.
Yep.
Big act of bravery there. Well, we've got warm temperatures, just hot temperatures again today, hot and muggy, and we're also hazy this morning, as we can see from the MoDOT camera at 32nd and Range line. A lot of folks lining up there. I presume the light is red, and that's why they're stopped, which is good. You don't want to go through the red light. That can be dangerous. KDOT camera, 69 Kansas Crossing, looking back to the north-south of Pittsburgh, looking fairly good as well, getting a little more sunlight out there through that haze. Future Track is going to show us again the chance of an isolated shower or storm as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. For today, though, most of us will be dry, but our clouds increase late this evening and overnight ahead of slightly better scattered shower and thunderstorm chances starting earlier as well. 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, we'll see a low pressure off to our southwest kind of bring in an opportunity for showers and storms. Now, these will be with us the majority of the day, but doesn't necessarily mean where you're at it's going to rain all day, and some of us may not see much rain at all, if any. But as you can see, we've got a better opportunity for scattered showers and storms, and they'll continue a little later as well, maybe 8, 9 o'clock at the latest before they begin to clear out. And could see a couple of additional storms overnight into early Sunday morning, and then after that we start to clear out and warm up for our Sunday. We'll have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The city of Nevada, Missouri is asking voters to decide a half-cent sales tax. The revenue from the sales tax would generate approximately $1 million per year. It would be a permanent change and would fund a new aquatic center for the town, as well as increase the starting salaries for the town police and fire departments. The vote is set for the upcoming primary on August 6th. The Vernon County Clerk's Office held a forum for sheriff candidates to answer questions. The 3 candidates answered questions about mental health, community safety, crime management, and they had a chance to explain their platform to the attendees. The primaries for this race will also take place on August 6th. The Economic Security Corporation in Joplin is connecting homeless people with helpful resources. The Project Homeless Connect event offers people a chance to get some food, get a haircut, and learn about job and health resources. The Economic Security Corporation also provides utility and housing assistance for residents in need.
And we've got another hot and muggy day out there. Temperatures about normal, though, which is good. We'll go upper 80s, right about 90, maybe even some low 90s. Partly cloudy skies and an opportunity for an isolated shower or storm. Clouds will increase as we head through the evening hours and into the overnight, and we'll fall back to normal around 70. We'll be a little below normal tomorrow. We've got slightly better shower and thunderstorm chances across the area. Now, not everybody will see rain necessarily, but we've at least got better chances of a few more of us seeing rain tomorrow. Back to normal on Sunday. Temperatures getting dangerously hot next week, back to the lower 100s, and those heat index values could reach or exceed 105.
Alrighty. Well, large numbers of tourists turned out to watch the sunset over Santorini, Greece yesterday. Several people positioned themselves by the castle and took photographs of the sunset, which has become famous on social media.
Santorini, a small island with a little over 1,500 residents, receives more than 5.5 million visitors annually. That's twice the number it hosted in 2012, according to a report which was released in June. Certainly looks like a beautiful place to see, but I'm not sure if I want to go and share it with, a million other tourists all at the same time. That takes away from the peace and the quiet and the, but it still looks like a beautiful place.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good into your morning. We will be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.